Welcome to Page Turners, a weekly bookish podcast for every kind of reader. Whether you want to explore a variety of genres, tick books off your growing TBR, or simply skip the reading for book club, we've got you covered. That's Liv.
And that's Amy. Hello.
Hello.
In person.
No.
Together again.
Together again. On the couch once more.
How have you been?
Good. Yeah, I'm trying to think the last time I went to the Ivy.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
fun.
It's very nice.
Yeah, oh, you went with Carol,
I
your
did.
mother-in-law,
I
for a
did.
champagne.
Yeah, but they didn't have the menu, so they just gave us the money, the value of the voucher put towards the cost of whatever we wanted. So it was so dangerous.
Yeah,
It's
right.
such a big lunch. So many cocktails.
So you didn't get any champagne?
Oh, I had champagne, but that was
Oh.
just I just picked.
That was
to
just
have
you having champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, good. Very much enjoyed it. Got lots of inspiration for what I want my kitchen to look like.
Oh, okay.
I like the colour scheme.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah. How was your weekend? You had guests.
We did. Our friends brought up their little 1-year-old puppy, Dot. She's a Yorkie Terrier. And previously, it's not that I don't like any breeds of dog. It's that I just, I've never met a Yorkie before. And
Yeah, well, I don't know. Don't come for me. But they appear to be quite yappy.
she was a little yappy on the last night and it did go through into my
Yeah.
bones.
Uh-huh. I don't mind a deeper bark. I'm all right with that, like a big woof. I like that.
Yeah. Paul's got one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she was cute.
She was cute. She was cute. Very cute. I like the video you sent me.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Did you watch Crafts?
No.
Oh, I thought you would have.
I can't be asked for that.
It's a bit long, but I watched a couple of the events and I did watch the Best in Show. I just love it because you just get to see all these different dogs that you want.
Yeah, that's true. I like, what's the event where they do like a relay and they run to the end?
Oh,
and
it's something like fly, something.
Yeah.
I can't remember it.
But they're so fast.
So fast. So fast. Yeah, it's a great time.
Okay, and it was nice. I didn't watch it, but my mum and dad watched it and they were telling me all about the Whippet that won Best in Show.
Yeah, it's cutie. Did you see the Golden Retrievers doing a little ABBA dance?
No.
It's hilarious. You need to watch it.
Okay.
They don't do much because they're just such big, cute, like dopey things, like just sitting like happily. But it's almost as if they are just like looking at their owners and being like, "Oh bless," because they just sit like smiling, and the owners are like marching about and doing this like synchronized routine, and the dogs are just not moving. One's just jumping up and down.
Amazing. Amazing.
Great time.
Book news.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we released our episode on Legendborn.
Mm-hmm.
Big up Tracy Deonn.
Big up.
And Oathbound comes out. Well, it's already out in the US. It's been out for about, well, by the time this goes out, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But Oathbound doesn't come out in the UK until Thursday. I know, what a horrible wait. But actually, I've been seeing some disgruntlement on the US due to Barnes and Noble. So it was a Barnes and Noble exclusive.
Like a Barnes and Noble exclusive version, like copy of the book.
I don't know. I thought it might potentially be the only place you could get it was Barnes and Noble.
Right, okay. Special edition.
They did also do a special edition for it, but please, if anyone is listening who is an American listener, let us know if we are wrong. But yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people saying that they went into their Barnes and Noble, people hadn't even bothered ordering it. There was no, stands with it on, like there would be for a certain dragon book. It wasn't even included in because I get the Barnes and Noble newsletter because I'll just give anyone my email. I'll sell my soul. But if it means 10% off,
you can harvest my data.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I've got nothing interesting to steal.
I always think that. I'm like, you can take it if you want.
If anything, it's a weight off mine. No, that doesn't make
You deal with this, and I don't have to think about it.
I will read my books with 10% off, I might add. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't even on the up-and-coming releases, fantasy releases for March in the newsletter.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, can we call it racism? Yes.
We can.
Yes.
Ah, okay. But I know which book you're referring to when you say a dragon book. So Onyx Storm got a big hurrah.
Yeah. Honestly, you did.
Okay.
you'd shit your pants. You
Mm.
wouldn't be able to move for Onyx Storm.
No, it's
Yeah.
the same in our bookstores, to be fair. I was in
That's it.
Waterstones not long ago. It was still there, front and centre.
So I'll be curious to see how it's marketed in the UK come Thursday. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of
Have a look this
a
weekend.
lot of disappointment and a lot of people suggesting boycotting Barnes and Noble.
So they just haven't ordered it in.
Yeah, people are coming in the comments saying, "Oh, this series clearly isn't as popular as you think it is." But I cannot move for this series anywhere right now. Everyone in our TikToks is reading it.
Didn't you say there was like
There was so many
many
ratings. Yeah. So ridiculous.
Anything exciting coming out today or this week?
Yes, there is today a little podcast favorite, Sarah Roche, for Go Look Yourself, the second book in the Royals and Romance novel.
So nothing to do with seasonal.
No,
that's interesting.
That's cute. That's come out. A Terry Brooks, one of the Shannara Chronicles, has come out. Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole, the third book in the series.
Has passed me by.
It has also passed me by as well, but it seems to be doing a resurgence because it used to be it's still was indie published, but it's now getting like a hardback special edition.
Okay. So a bit like Quicksilver.
I think so.
Like
yes.
it's been so popular that it's now been picked up for more traditional publishing.
Yes. And
interesting.
This one caught my eye. Chaos by Constance Fay, which gives me romance science fiction vibes.
I mean, that sounds something that we might want to
have a look
at. Yeah.
Well, I'll say no more about it, and maybe it'll appear on a later episode. I think this might be the third book, so maybe we'll go back to book one.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Like we've done a little bit of light sci-fi, as you pointed out last time. Maybe a little bit more sci-fi, but with some romance to go alongside it would be nice.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. What are you currently reading?
Bloodmarked.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you gave me some quite bad news today.
I did, yeah. Amy picked me up from the train station. I did text you this morning, but I needed to reiterate. I needed to tell you face to face.
I think I missed it this morning because our signal at work is rubbish, so I don't think I got it.
That's fine. It was in like intermittent messages
right,
as I found out. Like the book is 4-book series. Amy and I don't know what even gave us this opinion or this idea that the book was a trilogy.
I think it's just because most of the time fantasy books are. Maybe?
Yeah, trilogies.
Trilogy
duology. I don't know which one's the most popular, but yeah, no, I
like a duology. I don't feel like you get enough of them.
I think they've become a lot more popular. I like a quadrilogy personally because I think it's a strange number. And the problem with trilogies that we always face is that the second book is always shocking.
Yeah, it's flatlines entirely because it's building up for the big finish. Yeah.
So the Legendborn cycle is 4 books apparently.
I really want to see how the third one ends because you had pointed out that the second book had a really like a killer cliffhanger.
Yes, everyone has said that the cliffhanger at the end of Bloodmark nearly killed them.
So we're okay because we can go straight into
Oathbound,
3.
yeah.
But if Oathbound is another brutal cliffhanger, you said it was 3. Is that correct? 3 years between 2 and 3.
Bloodmark came out in 22. Oathbound's just come out, obviously.
Oh man!
So could we be late to mid 30s by the time? Well, the less said about that, the better. I think.
Let's move on.
Amy, would you like to tell us what we have read this week?
This week, we have read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen.
Proudly displayed between us.
A stunning version. I absolutely love the sprayed edges.
Yeah, that is a Waterstone special edition.
Could you show me the underneath the dust jacket?
Oh, rude.
Oh no. Let me have a little look at it.
So the end pages are cute.
Very pretty. Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then just the sort of the tether.
I like that, like the tether. And we've got any kind of illustrations of the characters in there?
No, it is just the fancy tie-dye end pages.
Very pretty. We do get a little taster on the front though, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, nice.
Big up Laura at Waterstones Falkirk for holding me a copy.
Oh, I thought you meant Laura, the author. I was like, yeah, big up for writing the book. Cool.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Okay. Trigger warnings.
Yes. Death.
Death, illness of a family member.
Yes, illness in general.
Yep.
Murder. Bit
Gore.
of gore. Yeah.
So, peril, our fave.
Oh, peril.
Peril, there it is again.
Sort of like a religious type.
Yeah, a little bit of maybe if you're, there's some mentions of some kind of representation of hell in there and
yeah.
demons.
Insane asylum sort of lobotomies,
Yeah.
torture
Yep.
in a way.
Mental health, I guess, in that way, and how it was kind of, I mean, it's obviously how it was treated in the past, but could be triggering for now as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and there's also stabbing and shooting and all sorts going on.
Lots of death. Lots of death.
Kind of has to be.
Yes.
the theme.
Before we do the speedy summary, I feel like this is something we don't normally do, but I feel like it's important to say. The opinions that we have throughout, not just this one, are not indicative of how we feel about the person who's wrote them.
No.
Laura has come out, she's written a book, she's bared her soul, putting a book out there, which is a really hard thing to do. And just like any of our authors that we read or whatever, we're talking about the books, we're not talking about the people.
No, never.
Cool. I present to you a speedy summary.
Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
3, 2, 1, go.
Wales, 2022. Branwen wants to save her sixth sister by donating her bone marrow, but her 18th birthday is close at hand and she's always killed before that day. Throughout the story, we get flashbacks of the past lives of Evelyn and Arden, always finding and killing one another. Evelyn / Branwen is convinced new boy Seri in town is Arden. She lures him on a date and knocks him out. It's not him though, and Arden reveals himself as the boy who's been living with them for years, Dylan. She begs him to wait until she can save Gracie and he agrees, loving Gracie too. The bone marrow is harvested painfully, but the police arrive in recovery, having been sent a recorded conversation between herself and Arden with him threatening her, which Evelyn sent to Seri. Arden / Dylan evades capture, but finds Evelyn before she can escape town. She says she'll come to the cliffs and die if he tells her the truth of them. At the top of the cliff, he tells her she's a devil, servants of the mother, suffering made whole, who reap souls to feed her. Evelyn reaped Arden's soul hundreds of years back, and they've been together ever since, loving and killing each other to avoid returning to the Underrealm and be forced to reap souls for the mother. They make love and wait for their 18th birthday, transporting them to the Underrealm, where Evelyn tries and fails to kill the mother. She makes them one last deal that she'll feed on their love for one another. They'll forget each other, but they'll be free of the cycle and able to live past 18. They agree, but the power of their love overwhelms the mother, killing her. Years later, fate makes them meet in a coffee shop, and a spark relights anew.
Beautiful. 1 minute 24.
Thank you very much.
Very well done, because that is a tough old plot to summarise.
Yes, it is. And this calls for some wine.
I'm just having a little bit of wine before we get started.
So,
right, let's start how we started to. We've kind of got into a habit of starting. First impressions.
I might potentially start with expectations.
Fair.
Not to just fuck you off with your flow.
But to be fair, I think I would have included my expectations within that.
Fair.
That's fine.
Fair.
Yeah.
The hype that this has surrounding it, maybe we'll talk about that a little as to how it might have potentially affected our thoughts. But it's big. Big hype. When a book is pipped as The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How You Lose the Time War.
Yes.
That's already quite a high bar for it.
Oh, yeah, hugely.
And
one of those books, never mind both.
Yeah, of course. And the Romantasy girlies are going mad for it.
And I can see, even looking at it, you can see that we've leaned into that.
It's such an interesting concept. When I heard it was why I was a little disappointed, but I thought it was going to be sweet, and I thought it was going to be potentially quite fast paced, and I thought that I would probably read it quite quickly, and I didn't think I was going to love it, but I thought I was happy that I would probably have enjoyed it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I just loved the concept. I think the marketing did a great job because I was aware of this book quite a while ago because I had it on our original overview of what we were planning to cover this year.
Yes, it was your choice to put in, yeah.
And I thought, yeah, it's got to be one that we talk about because it sounds incredible as a concept.
Yep.
And perhaps, as you say, that expectation was hard to live up to.
Yes.
So maybe we're coming in with it's good to maybe just set the scene that we are coming in with particularly high expectations. But with that being said, I think that was kind of the intention, that the hype is high because this is going to be incredible.
That's it. Sometimes, you can sort of be like, oh, is the hype what's killed it in a sense? But actually, if it can't stand up, having been so overhyped, then there's something wrong there.
Agreed.
This book is probably the worst book I've ever read on the podcast.
We talked about this today, and I said it's the worst book I've read in 2025. And after kind of thinking about it, I know it's like a running joke with Laurie Gilmore and whatever else, but that's a love-hate relationship. Like, I don't think she takes herself too seriously. I'm not saying Laura does, but it's not the same kind of book, is my point. This was a huge letdown for me.
Agreed. Yeah, it was
staring at me.
I know. I feel bad. It was long.
It was very long. It started well. Let's go with that. So I have written down here, I loved the concept. I really enjoyed, and I'm going to say present day because it was the 2022
Wales,
that kind of timeline.
I really enjoyed that timeline as well, but I just felt like it was interspersed with flashbacks that added nothing to the plot.
The flashbacks added nothing. They're my biggest gripe. If, in my opinion, I've written here, it should have been quality over quantity for the flashbacks. Maybe pick a couple. There were some that I really wanted to get more from. Like the asylum flashback.
Yes.
Would have been interesting. The World War II.
They made that like it was such a big deal, and then we barely saw any of it.
Did they say World War II?
Yeah.
Because trench warfare.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, never mind. History girlies.
Now we're saying that, I'm also second guessing.
I'm also thinking the same thing, but I just can't remember it. Anyway, never mind. There was a few that I was really interested in finding out more about. The problem with the timeline for me and the flicking between them was that we were meeting the characters right at the end of their story, because they die when they turn 18. And in every single flashback that we had, they were just about to turn 18. So I had no reason to build any kind of connection, because I knew every single chapter ended with, and then we died, and then we jumped into the river, and then our heads crashed against the rocks or whatever it was.
Yeah, the only ones that I feel were potentially significant to include were the one where they were best friends as girls in like the tribe, the merchant tribe type thing. I thought that was quite significant. Siberia for sure. Then El Salvador.
Yes, because we saw the difference in how
how he shifts. Then potentially, I like the asylum one because she comes back for him having escaped.
Yes, and it shows him that there's love there, not just and it kind of, I guess, really cements for him that although she is a devil, she has got the capability to feel kind of empathy and love.
Yeah, and then the final flashback.
Yeah, how it all began.
The story of it all. Yeah.
I just found it very hard to connect to their relationship in general.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe that they'd been in love for hundreds, thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
I just didn't get it.
The last flashback's in 900, isn't it? And they're in like, give or take, just over a millennia. Yeah. The only thing I can really say about them is that Evelyn's really kind-hearted.
Yeah.
And has a lot of empathy. And Arden likes to write.
Arden writes, and he kind of picks up, like he kind of magpies in terms of phrase, and like he finds it harder, I think, to kind of come back anew. He takes bits of his previous identities and kind of
very true,
adds to his personality. But that could be because he's not the Reaper.
Yeah, that is true.
So he's more aware of what happened, whereas she forgets.
Yeah, she forgets every time. He remembers from, I think, thing is that what's mad is he remembers that she reaps his soul. That's the only soul that Evelyn's ever reaped as a devil. Sorry, just a pause while I rolled my eyes there. But he doesn't remember the actual origin, which just, all right, cool. I really liked the poetry, his poetry, the book, like in the book. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And really beautifully done. And obviously that is quite an undertaking to do that as well as writing the novel.
Exactly.
So big up Laura for that, because that was great. That was really beautiful. And for me, the only deeper connection we had for the two of them. But it's not the Arden we get to know. These were written in Siberia. We get maybe about 6 or 7 pages in Siberia, and that's it.
And that's the thing. If we'd started in Siberia just as they'd perhaps met for the first time, and then there's maybe some kind of I don't even know, it doesn't need to be enemies to lovers, but friends to lovers, or, you know, some kind of connection that builds over time and has
Yeah.
the satisfying payoff. It can still end in them killing each other. That's okay. I don't mind that, but I need to buy into it. I don't want to just see the last hour or so before you die and you lie in a grave together. Like, I need more.
That's a question I have, because I don't know where I've gotten it from. Is this book pitched as enemies to lovers?
I don't think so.
Good, because it's fucking not.
No.
I don't know where I thought I saw it, or maybe I haven't, maybe I've made it up, maybe I've read the blurb and made assumptions, but this book isn't, if you're going into this thinking, I can't wait to read this enemies to lovers, this is not an enemies to lovers.
No, this is like,
they're in love from the very fucking beginning.
They love each other straight away. Yeah.
And the flashback was not a surprise. At the very end of the book, there's a flashback where you realise that Evelyn wasn't always a devil and they loved each other as girls, and one of them gets killed, and so Evelyn's like, oh no, I'll be a reaper for you.
Yeah, because the idea is that to be a devil, or I think they say a witch at one point, there's a sort of a bit of foreshadowing in that to be a witch, you have to sacrifice yourself for something. It might be like you want to cure someone's illness or bring someone back from the dead. Foreshadowing. And then we see that's what she's done. She sold her soul to the mother to sacrifice herself.
Yep. But then, right, so even then it's not a surprise.
No.
That they look so even, So if anyone says this is enemies to lovers, I normally don't, well, that's a lie. I always tell people whether they're right or wrong. They're wrong.
It's not. It's definitely not. And I don't know, I cannot speak to it. If it's being marketed like that, then it's been marketed incorrectly. I'm not saying that you are, but you might find it's being marketed like that for a reason, because we know how popular enemies to lovers is.
Yes,
and that's not potentially Laura's doing. So
no,
you know,
that was loud. Neither is also saying Addie LaRue and this is how we lose the Time War.
No,
but
no.
Well, we hope at least, because
don't read Addie LaRue, and I don't know.
Yeah, if you're in a book slump from Addie LaRue, do not pick this up thinking you're getting more of the same thing.
Don't do that. No, I think it does. It does try to be kind of twisty, turny. What's going on? Who's that? We don't know. What was your thoughts when we were in the kind of Welsh timeline 2022 and we didn't know who Arden was?
Well, it was obviously Dylan right from the start, because she brushed straight over him. Oh, that's Dylan, who's been with us for a couple of years and he's really great to the family. And I'm like, well, it's obviously him, right? Like,
exactly.
Because it ain't going to be blonde boy. First of all, anyone pitches a blonde MC for a love interest, it's not happening. So we knew her name. Oh, sorry, I have this question that we're going to have to just completely smash in here. How come throughout every single life, so what? It's been, let's say, 1150 years divided by 18. Excuse me, sorry, just doing some calculator maths here. So that's 63.8. So let's round down and say 63 lives. How come neither of them are ugly in any of those lives?
Never ugly.
Always beautiful, always stunning.
And never have sex.
Oh, Amy. I get this.
Madly attracted to one another.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know this is a YA.
Yeah, but you do have sex eventually.
Yeah, it baffles me that it's been thousands of years, and they're clearly both at the age of consent when they meet most of the times, and they know who each other is, and Evelyn's a right horn dog.
I know, she wants
all the way through, and there is no shame in that.
She wants every iteration of Arden.
And they clearly do bits. I've got to hate myself.
But they do bits.
Yes, they do bits in the sauna. And then the Sultan comes in and he's not happy about it. But
it's a bit like, come on.
Just watch.
I'm reading this bit.
Yeah.
Carry on.
They just didn't have sex. Why?
Didn't have sex. And listen, I know that there is a reason for why he didn't just tell her. Why didn't he just fucking tell her? He could have solved this problem much sooner if we had. I don't even know if it's a miscommunication trope. It's more just a no communication.
That was going to be one of my questions. Yeah, I fucking hate the miscommunication trope. But I think we've spoken about this before as well. This is not miscommunication. No. This is just not communicating.
This is just, I'm just not going to tell you.
No one's had a misunderstanding or whatever. No. He just, and what his excuse was that he didn't want her to get upset. that she
knew
was the original devil.
it hurts her. And I thought,
But you kill her every 18 years. Like,
break her heart because she connects with a family. She has real life relationships with her family members. She talks about all her mums that she's had over the years.
Yep.
And she begs you not to kill her.
Yep.
And you think it's a better alternative to just kill her anyway and not tell her the truth rather than just explain the situation.
It's one of those fucking like self-sacrificing pieces of shit, though, right?
He does tell her. She instantly says, "I've got a plan. I'm going to go and kill the mother."
Yep.
Like the very first time well, maybe not the very first time. I think there's allusions that he's told her before, but you think, well, there you go. The plan would be put in place a lot quicker.
Yep. And you wouldn't have had to have suffered for this long.
Oh. Wouldn't you work together? You're the only two people that can possibly understand the situation that you're in. Why would you not confide in someone that you also love more than anything?
That's it. It's arrogance, right? It's hubris. It's like, oh, well, I'll take this self-sacrifice on for myself. It's just, huge arrogance. Nah.
Job, Arden.
Yeah, 100%. I liked Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan
but
was fun.
Didn't like Arden. I think there were bits of him where I was like,
I could not really connect with who Arden was. I kind of got Evelyn. I kind of got the running thread of sacrifice, empathy, almost loving to a fault.
Yep.
I couldn't, apart from, as you say, he likes to read and he kind of picks up different turns of phrase and things. What was his core? Like, what was he all about?
Yeah.
Didn't get it. Yeah, but
reading, writing, I don't know. As someone whose entire personality is reading and writing in me, I'm feeling a little attacked right now.
Like, we actually have a podcast about reading and we're like, well, you just read books. Oh, get a personality.
Loser. That is very true, yeah. I also have a big gripe about it being YA. Neither one of them is actually 16 or 17. They're thousands of years old. So there was no maturity there.
None.
And I get that Evelyn resets every time.
Yeah.
But she remembers. She gets to about the age of 8.
I think it's said that it's when she sort of starts to have like a consciousness. Right.
Sure.
And has like the ability to remember things. I can remember things from like primary 1. So I feel like
that's about 5, right?
Why is 8 chosen? But you're right, it was about
I think
8.
it was like 8, 10. I think once she said that she was a bit later.
We never saw that. How interesting would that have been to read? Her realizing all this and being able to. I don't think we see it. I don't think we ever see her at that age.
We definitely see her meeting him for the first time. Oh no, I suppose in the merchant tribe we sort of see it.
A little bit.
She goes and he's a little girl in the tribe, along with their best friends and stuff.
Right.
She sort of sees it's him,
and then
it
reminds her of everything.
Yeah, but like I'd have liked to have known sort of maybe on her own. I really liked probably because I really like this period of time, but like watching the play, they're watching the opera.
Yeah, I like that too.
Vienna.
I loved it. It sounded so lush, and she was making costumes and things.
His mother, because Evelyn's a man at this time, his mother is like a costumer for the opera. Just, oh my god, yes, okay,
yeah.
yes.
Let's just
have a whole standalone about that.
That I thought, yeah, just pick a couple. You could have just chosen maybe 4 past lives and just gave us more of that, and then wove it through the story.
Yeah, I agree.
I just felt like every chapter I just didn't care.
It was because each one was different, right? I think maybe it might have gone back to one twice. I don't know if it actually did.
I think it went back to when it was like the Norse gods.
Oh yeah,
because Evelyn comes back when the people are still that she left behind are still alive. So within their lifetime, she comes back. Normally she like flip-flops through time, doesn't she? It's like hundreds of years of a difference. Whereas this is only like 10 years later or something. And she comes back and her mum is still alive, possibly, from that time. And then they're like, you're a witch, because she's trying to convince them that she knows them and that she's
just
her.
Fucking stupid,
I
man.
know. It felt a bit like Horrible Histories sometimes, It was like, the rotten Romans. And I was like, I'm going to go back to that time again.
Oh, okay.
Fun. And some of them were really interesting, to be fair. Some of the time lines that we followed were, I wanted more. As you say, the Vienna one was particularly cool.
Yeah.
But we just didn't get enough from any of them.
and thus we didn't get enough development from either of them. Or
No.
I want to read about the time they actually start to fall in love.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you're so right. We come in, they're already in love.
They're in love. There's nothing to root
So
for.
there's no
Yeah.
build up. There's
No.
nothing. Oh,
There's no tension. I do think Laura tries to kind of make it feel tense and make us feel like, oh, but I never felt like that reading it.
no.
And there's so much in this about sacrifice and doing all you can for that other person, and it's meant to be this epic love story. I didn't cry once.
No, me either. Just
Yeah,
I didn't care.
didn't care. Oh no.
Let's start with the 1 stars.
I want to see if anyone else feels similar to how we feel. I think I'll feel better if we hear that.
Okay. No depth, all told, not shown, one-dimensional characters and love story.
Kind of sums it up for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was.
Is that one review, or is that just you taking a sample?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's because I know it's hard sometimes to find just one review that kind of does it all, but
Yeah. Before we actually continue on reviews, I have a bone to pick with an author. V.E. Schwab has added a blurb for this book saying impossible to put down. What were you reading?
That's rubbish.
What
We
were
were
you
talking
reading?
about that. Remember we were saying before.
With Simon Schuster, yeah.
And I'm kind of seeing what they were saying now.
Did you actually read the book?
This is nonsense.
Yeah.
It's impossible to put down. I mean, we were talking about this. We both finished it fairly.
We finished it today.
Yeah. So
it was rubbish. Sorry, right, okay. I'm trying not to.
No, but
just say
valid. The end was a mess.
Oh my god, the end was such a mess. Yeah, so you find out that she's she's a devil, and then they go to the underrealm. And so, can we just point out? Did you ever watch as a kid? It's called Skelly Bones or something, and it was like in a dark, dark night on a dark, dark street.
Funny Bones.
Funny Bones. Thank you.
Yeah, with the dog and the I don't know if there's 2 skeletons. There's a little dog skeleton.
They're clearly both men and they're clearly gay.
Yeah, but that's great. Yeah,
whatever. It's perfect. It's like Bert and Ernie, but skeleton versions.
Yeah,
that's all I thought when I heard about the Underrealm. When they were like, "It's bones for trees," I was just like, "Oh, this is like, what the fuck is this?
Spooky,
like Corpse Bride,
spooky,
like,
scary skeleton."
Yeah.
It's when the reveal was like, "It's white," and you were like, "Oh right," and it was like, because the coals were white hot. Like,
oh yeah, the lakes that were actually white hot coals.
Like,
it was just the mother's there, but it's not actually Evelyn's mother. We're led to believe that she's like this natural product, the only devil that's like a natural product of, of not. But we find out she's not. She's made a deal.
All that was a waste of time, really.
Yeah, right. And yeah, Evelyn's aching for her one true mother.
And we see her in the trenches.
Yes.
And she says something like, "This has gone on long enough," or something.
Yeah.
Even she's getting bored with the book by this point.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was like, yeah. Who are you?
Yes, queen.
Let's hear more from her.
And then she kills her, and I've definitely done that in air quotes because she doesn't. I just, and I think we might have already talked about this, and I definitely talk about this with Alex all the time. When you're killing someone in a book or film or whatever, just put an extra couple of bullets in them. Just stab them a couple more times.
Do it again.
It always happens. Oh, and then her little demons came and got them all. And
why did the demons let her kill her?
They let her kill her.
Be like, no.
Oh, I don't know.
Rubbish demons.
Rubbish demons.
Because I thought, oh, interesting. The demons maybe are conflicted. They're like, oh, we don't really like her.
She says they clearly don't have a loyalty to her, so they might even let it happen.
No.
Oh, it was just, and then she was like, oh, I feed off your suffering, and then Evelyn somehow works out that the suffering's not enough, and then she's like, I could feed on your love, and then they decide to give their love, and
then she almost dies from the love because there's so much of it.
She does die,
She does die,
it destroys her because of her weak soul or some shit.
It gave me like Wicked Witch of the West vibes.
Oh, I'm melting.
Yeah, it gave me that because it just didn't. Again, I just was a bit like, don't know who you are really, the mother, barely even.
Yeah, don't care.
Had anything to do with you, so don't really care if you die.
Yeah, and it was.
Sorry, Queen.
Yeah, you died, so email it. Then get the first ever flashback, which was the reason how it all started, and you won't remember. I was like, oh, okay, that's convenient. And then the fucking right, we have to talk. So the last bit is 2054, 2052 or something, and they're in Edinburgh. And
Waterstones.
Oh, yeah. Look, at the very least, I kind of be mad because.
Where'd you get the book?
Oh, no. It's a conspiracy. Kind we kind be mad because I hate it when books are like, oh, I love face tube
Yeah, me too.
and stuff. So at least Laura is throwing caution to the wind of being sued.
If it was like Aqua Rock, you'd be like,
No.
mm.
Evelyn is in a male body again.
Yep.
And is like this big fashion designer, and then
Barista.
whatever, yeah, and then has like their fashion has like go out and they're releasing some fashion houses, and then all of a sudden they just get this urge to become a barista
because they know that it's like
it's fate.
A calling. They're feeling there's a reason why.
Yeah.
We know why,
and the reason is because Arden is in the coffee shop.
But couldn't Arden just have found them somewhere else?
Oh, I don't know.
Because the nice thing about the fashion designer storyline is that Gracie, the sister, is an actress now, an actor now.
Nope, that's my ick of the week. Is that you go back and Gracie's now a famous actress who's at the Met Gala and she happened to wear her stuff. Fuck off.
I know. I was just like, I roll. Because to be fair, I did want to know what happened to Gracie. I wanted to know if the stem cell transplant had worked.
Oh, the bone marrow, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the bone marrow. And I was like, yeah, I want to know this, but not in such a
I think
after school special kind of way.
Yeah, sometimes I know that we've talked about how I enjoy an epilogue and how I enjoy sort of things wrapped in a bow. With this, to be fair, I think I just wanted it to end. So I think I couldn't have given a shit. I'd have been happy being like, yeah, clearly Gracie's gonna survive or whatever.
You just would have been happy just to
rather than that fucking shoehorned in. Oh, and she went to the Met Gala and she's a little bit alternative, so she wore the fashion. We just assume they will have been a barista for a couple of weeks and then they'll have met Arden / whatever his name is now.
Yeah.
And then because they fuck off from behind the till. And if anything, the biggest victim in this is their manager, because it's fucking it's so much effort hiring people and then for them to just walk out and not take it seriously.
Straight away. It's a hobby job.
Yeah.
And then right away it's like, I feel like I've known you.
Yeah. Do I know you? Oh, I think it would have been better if they'd somehow remembered each other.
Like a little...
I don't know, if you were doing...
something.
I'm trying to think of it here. They come take their name or something. Say it's not Waterstone. Say it... I'm trying to think. Moon Dollars. That famous cafe, Moon Dollars, that I won't say the name of. And they're taking the name and, they write Arden
on the cup.
Accidentally. Something like that. And it's coffee for Arden, and he'll, like, look up. And it's a bit cheesy, but
that's okay. Because this was very much like, I think I know you from somewhere.
Have I met you before?
I feel like I've known you all my life. Like, no.
You have. Anyway, yeah, sorry, back to the 1 stars.
That was my ick, by the way, the last line.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So we've jumped ahead to ick of the week. But yeah, that was definitely mine. Because I remember finishing it.
Excuse me, he said, breathless. Have we met before?
That's it. It's like, oh...
If any man ever says that to me in a coffee shop, I'm like, walk on, pal.
I'm just like, no.
Fucking jog on. Fucking jog on, mate.
Nah. Not meeting now.
Bad writing.
I wouldn't necessarily say bad. What I would say is the dictionary app on my Kindle was working overtime. The little add-on. And at times I was kind of like, this is okay. I quite like. It's nice to learn a new word. Every day's a skill day. That's great. It's when you look up what the word means and they could have just used like cold instead. And I'm not saying you can't use, synonyms. That's not what I'm saying. But when you're just plucking something from like thesaurus.com to just...
She's got it bookmarked in her computer.
Exactly. Just to make it, it's like Joe. No, you haven't seen Friends. But if anyone has seen Friends, when Joey writes a kind of recommendation letter, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Aortic pumps instead of hearts. That's what he uses. Right. They have large aortic pumps rather than saying they're like big hearted. And it gave me that. I was like, right, I'm getting a bit bored of this now. I'm getting a bit bored.
Yeah, like you said, I wouldn't say bad, but I would say it was trying too hard to be poetic and beautiful.
Yeah. And I guess a lot of it was, and its simplicity, as you say, the poetry was fantastic.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the poetry. There was one very specific review that I wanted to read. There's 2 specific reviews for this. One's brilliant, and the other one is so harsh. Quotes that should have been in Tumblr or Pinterest in pandemic are being presented to my face in big 2025 in a traditionally published book. Yeah, no, wake the fuck up.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
And we think we're being mean.
I know. Could we see some of the quotes maybe over a picture of like a sunset? Maybe.
Yeah, people were just saying big disappointment of 2025. I think the hype, it's destroyed it. And someone's put boring and too long.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's way too long. You could have cut
Absolutely.
out some of those flashbacks, as you say, and it would not have made a slight bit of difference.
Make the flashbacks more significant. I don't even remember any of the other ones.
There was a pirate one because I was like, yeah, pirate girly.
Oh, is that when they're on like the boat and then she pushes
Yeah,
them off?
they're in like the East Indies or something. I'm like, all right, cool. And nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. No point to it.
5 stars?
5 stars.
Let's try and
Let's see it.
let's try. There are a lot of 5-star reviews. We are very much in the minority here. We're
okay with that.
It's okay. Everyone's allowed their opinions. They all say the same sorts of things. And
Okay.
maybe if you're listening to this, loving this book, please tell us, other than what I'm about to say, why you loved it. Because
Yeah.
I would love to hear other other
Always.
opinions. First one, poetic and lyrically sensational prose, which is just the absolute antithesis of bad writing. Like,
This is what we just said the opposite of there.
mm,
No, I think we've already talked about that.
I think there's a real art, and it's definitely something that you don't see often. So I won't blame Laura for this because it is a real skill on top of writing to make something seem beautiful and poetic without shoving it down your throat. And like you said, just going to thesaurus.com and finding words that are pretty for this.
And then being, as you know, a kind of victim of purple prose, and it becomes, you get weighed down in it. Yeah, no, you're right. There's a balance to be struck. Don't think this is an example of that, though.
No. Epic love story.
No, totally disagree.
Agreed. Disagreed. Straight off the bat, like there was no believable love there.
No, did not feel that they were in love for thousands and thousands of years. It just didn't come across like that to me at all.
No. And the last one, fucking profound.
I mean, did it get me thinking about some things? In a way it did. Like to think about, imagine coming back and like, you know, leaving all your family and knowing that you're going to leave your family and stuff. Like, yeah, there was a few times I was reading it and thinking, a bit of a shit situation for her. Profound is
I thought when you said,
bits.
Did it get me thinking about some things? I thought you were going to say, yeah, thinking about when this book was going to end. Yeah.
I thought about that a lot. I thought about that a lot last night. But that last slog from 40 to 75 was tough going.
Yeah, and look, we don't disagree that the concept has so much potential. It's so, well, it's not unique. Nothing really is unique these days, unfortunately. How ridiculous do I sound there? Got to stop that. I'm doing sound bites, man.
I know you're thinking of your the TikTok clippage. You're right. You're totally right. It's hard to be unique, and you know we know about Addie LaRue. Like, that's a very popular book in the kind of similar vein.
Yeah, sure, about memory,
immortal,
identity. Yeah, absolutely. Who you leave behind. Yeah.
There's some interesting commentary, like the parts about religion and the different world religions and how it could maybe, I mean, none of it worked and none of it kind of matched exactly. And but that was the point. It was that there's something else.
Yeah.
There's bits that there was potential to be interesting. And as I say, the present day, the 2022 timeline was compelling. I wanted to find out how it all ended. The bit with the weird murder confession that people then just thought that Dylan was this psychopath that had been and what he said wasn't even like didn't make any sense.
There is no way in hell. I cannot speak for the Welsh police, but I can speak for the police in England and Scotland. Nobody would be. They'd be telling Seri or Kerry. It's got to be Seri, right?
I think it's Seri.
Yeah,
I think
Seri to fuck off because there's absolutely no intent there. It's 2 people. There's no people in the photo, so they cannot actually tell who's saying what. It's a video, and Evelyn's taking.
She can't get the voice recording app up, so she just puts a video on.
And it just there is no way the police would chase anyone down for that.
Never.
So unrealistic.
And then the mom just instantly is like, oh wow, Dylan.
Despite the fact that she treats him like her son and he's been with them for 2.5 years, it's fine.
And then the sister Gracie literally just texts her and is like, "Lol, found out about Dylan. You okay?" Like,
yeah,
it's like that's a psychopath living in your house.
To be fair though, I did like that Gracie was like, "Don't steal my fucking thunder."
Gracie was great fun.
Yeah, she really was.
I like the Gracie interactions.
She was a light in a real big puddle of dark. But yeah, those are the 5 stars. I honestly can't. There's so much just like people being like, I'd give it 10 billion stars, and things like, oh, I'm
What else do you
obsessed.
read?
I will never be the same again is just one line of a review. What does that even mean?
Exactly.
But I will say the 1 star that I did draw your attention to was this could have been an email.
That's hilarious.
That's
That's good.
Oh,
Oh
fun.
dear.
Fun. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, we've done Ick of the Week.
I mean, I had a couple of X.
Oh, go on.
The bone marrow pro bono thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
We're in Wales.
yeah, that is something that we deal quite a bit with the NHS. You and I, we've both been through the system a few times, and spat out back the other end. But never once have I. Well, it's all free. Like it's all free to the point of care.
I thought that Laura. I mean, she is. I'm sure she's English, so you know how the NHS works.
Yeah, from the northernmost town in England.
You know how it works.
Well, it
In
just
what world would you go to your therapist and say, "Oh, I know that your wife is able to carry out this procedure, so could you just get her to do it for me, please?"
at first I was sort of like, okay, the therapist has said no, this isn't appropriate, and I was like, cool, okay, so something else is going to happen, and then the therapist has a change of heart and is like, actually, I don't think I could forgive myself
I
if that. I was
know.
just like, oh,
Also, you're a therapist. You're supposed to be
implementing healthy boundaries.
exactly and not encouraging these unhealthy habits.
Oh, honestly, yeah, just fucking yeah, no, it's so weird, so weird.
Yeah, you're getting struck off, therapist.
Absolutely, I'll make sure we'll find out who she is, and yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
You're put a complaint in.
Yeah, yeah, you'll never work again. We can talk about the sex scene.
Yeah.
Mm,
If you want. So
yeah.
boring. And then we were one. I hate we
Oh,
were one. I hate we
such
were
a
one. Thing is, like, it didn't need it. I know it's a young adult book, and I would argue it's a very young adult.
oh, it's so immature. Fine, sorry, go on.
We didn't need it.
Mm.
You hadn't explained why they haven't had sex before now. So
Oh,
why now?
she does say something like, "We've never had sex."
Why? You talked about how hot you found them in
Yeah.
every single lifetime.
There was something there that was just like trying to lean into that self-sacrificing bullshit again of like what. So you just but if we were in that scenario and I only got to live 18 years or just before that, and I only met the love of my life, my soulmate, my home, whatever, for like let's say at most 2 or 3 years before that, why wouldn't I be living my life to its fullest?
With them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah. So yeah, the sex scene was as disappointing as the rest of the book.
Yeah,
Flat.
flowery and rubbish. And
Surface level.
I couldn't even really work out what they were doing at one point.
Oh yeah, I mean, also, yeah.
There's a bit in the bit in the sauna where there's a description of what Arden's body's doing at the time. I think he's sitting down.
Yeah.
And I think there's a description of like the crease between like
Yeah,
like,
it's just above the yeah, weird. There was one point where I think I was like, wasn't he stood up? And yeah, so,
now he's
and
sitting down and his crease is out. Like going on.
put that crease away. Yeah, not great. Not great.
Why was it? I don't know if it's in the acknowledgements or anything, but why was the decision made to make it a YA? They were supposed to both be, as you say, they're not really 18.
No, they're
or
not
17.
They're not 18. Yeah, get it. They're probably 17, but they're not
really.
Yeah, they're thousands of years old. No, there's no author's note, just acknowledgements that suggest why it would be a YA. I've remembered my other ache, which was in my past life, I had to learn how to pick locks, and the muscle memory just kicked in.
Oh, I know.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't do that.
You have a completely different body. That's not how muscle memory works.
No. And if that's
so loud.
conveniently muscle memory for that in that example, well, then you should have muscle memory for all the things you've ever been able to do in any of your lives.
Yeah, the point of muscle memory is that you're not actually even thinking about it. So the fact that you don't remember won't negate the muscle memory.
No, muscle memory is like cutting with a pair of scissors. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that intrinsic, isn't it? It's like that easy to just do it and not think about it. So lock picking, nah, no.
Why? I'm sorry, I'm yawning because I'm so bored of this book.
Boring. Final thoughts. Disappointing.
Yeah.
a big letdown.
I mean, the thing is, I want to say don't bother reading this book if you haven't, but you've listened to this podcast, so you've basically read it now. You're not missing out.
Do you know, that is the thing. If you've listened to the entirety of this episode, you have pretty much read it.
Yeah.
We've covered all the main plot points. Not much happens despite how big the book actually is.
Yep.
So there's better things to read.
There are 100%. I would, yeah. If you've not read Addie LaRue and This Is How We Lose the Time War,
Go for it.
Go for it, because they're so much better. And This Is How We Lose the Time War is tiny in comparison.
Tiny.
It's about just over 100 pages, I think.
Yeah, because we were going to do it, I think, for an episode.
Yeah, we were.
We've read it, but we just, I think, maybe something else.
I think it was just before I got ill last year. So yeah, it's like a fraction of the size.
Read that instead.
Yeah.
Read Addie LaRue.
Read anything.
That's the soundbite. Final thoughts? Read anything else.
Read anything but this book. I feel so bad saying it, but we wanted to love it.
We to be honest, we don't really read, well, apart from next week's book, we don't really choose books that we don't think we're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really pick a book that we're like, we're going to hate this, so let's rip it apart. We thought this was going to be a complete winner for 2025, and it just wasn't.
How wrong we were.
Yeah. Move it up your TBR?
No. Take it off your TBR.
I don't even have it on there.
Take it to a charity shop.
I mean, it's a beautiful book, but yeah, even that doesn't redeem it.
Yep.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Not you, Laura. The book itself.
Yeah. There we go.
Any book? What else could they read that's Daughter of No Worlds for a really beautiful, in-depth relationship that you can...
If you genuinely want to feel the connection between two characters and believe the love between them, then that's a great example.
And then when you've read it, go through and listen to our episode on it. Don't listen to it. It's rubbish. It's a rubbish episode.
Not our best. And as you say, obviously, This Is How We Lost Time War, and also
Addie LaRue.
Yeah.
And Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab.
Yeah, but I'm like looking at V.E. Schwab and I'm like, don't trust you anymore. No, but definitely they are fantastic books. It's just, I'm really surprised. Very, very surprised.
All right, Amy, what are we reading next week? It's only right that you tell everyone what we're reading next week.
I'm going to butcher the name of this because I can never get it in the right order. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House.
Correct.
Hooray!
By Laurie Gilmore.
I wanted a P word and I was like, what could it be? Pats?
Yeah, I keep saying the Strawberry Pancake
Patch.
Yeah.
Strawberry Pancake House. Strawberry Patch Pancake House.
It's just Strawberry Patch. Strawberry Patch.
Pancake House.
No, I don't think it's a pancake house.
That is a pancake.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a pancake.
Oh, well. This is...
Because the sprayed edges are so cute. They're little pancakes.
Oh, okay.
With strawberries.
I've just pre-ordered it.
I know. Just looked at it 2 seconds ago.
Laurie Gilmore getting my books. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. You are right. I'm sorry. I think I got in my head about pancake.
It's not Annie and Mac yet, is it?
No.
Who cares then?
You're not even going to be impressed with Annie and Mac's book. I don't know what you're having on about.
Out for it though.
No, it is a new single dad, Archer, who comes to the small town.
Oh, is it an older couple?
No, and it's
not.
Olive. So the lassie that the main female character from the last one chose to hire in the little...
Oh yeah, she worked at the Christmas tree farm with him.
I thought she was
right.
kind of
She
fun.
was all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Well, they're easy. Yeah, it's the gingerbread bakery is Annie and Mac.
Oh, so Annie and Mac is coming in 2025.
Yep.
And then who? The mayor?
Do you know he doesn't have? No, he has a husband.
Yeah, the husband, but
it's her mum. It's Thingy's mum.
The mom
doesn't
it's
have.
It's going to be the mom.
Oh, I hope not. We're not reading that.
It's going to be the mom.
Down. Yeah. So
how many pages?
384.
Okay. Cool. Can't wait for Thursday.
Amy's gagging for it.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry if you're disappointed that we did not enjoy this book. We're disappointed we didn't enjoy this book.
Yeah.
And like we said, no shade on Laura Stephen. But not for us.
No, not a winner this time. But
any book after Legendborn was going to suffer.
True. That is very true. It's a hard act to follow. If you enjoyed the book, though, leave us a comment, interact with us on TikTok, maybe Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah, Instagram. I just post our stuff from TikTok onto Instagram stories. You never know.
You
Yeah,
can also watch us on YouTube.
you
But
can.
you can't see us.
No.
So don't think, oh, I'll get a chance to see an unedited version of the recorded pod. You won't.
No.
Um
We say too much wrong stuff for that.
oh yeah, you couldn't do an unedited version of this. Be grim.
We'll be grabbing wine glasses and standing up and doing stuff. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
I stood up at one point a minute ago. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, then tell us what you enjoyed about it. Because it
Yes.
would be great to hear.
Please do.
Mhm.
Until next week, happy reading.
Bye.